Mr. Crossover Paranormal Society. I hope everybody is doing well on this Saturday night. Um, we do not have a guest this weekend, and that's my fault. So I have fallen out of the habit of getting things together and doing this live broadcast with interviews and such, and I mentioned that last time I went live that I kind of needed a break, I guess. Even though I didn't realize I did, I kind of took the break without the formal announcements and such. So I wanted to stay in the habit of doing these, or get back in the habit of doing this type of stuff. It was kind of a double thing I was trying to do. I know everybody. Well, I don't know. I believe many enjoy these type of sit downs and interviews and things like that. I also know that you guys enjoy live investigations and such. And so I was trying to get to the point where I was doing some of those in, the group and such, not just me. When I say 90% of the time I am meaning Warren Area Society Paranormal. So forgive me when I do a lot of that. Me, myself. But anyways, enough of that rant. I wanted to start bringing you guys some more investigations because, well, that's the majority of what people want to do is they want to either A, see what we find or other paranormal teams, or they want to enjoy these interviews. So I've been asked several times, when am I going to get guests back? When am I going to start doing this? Leaffoot was on my case today. He's like, "You doing a show tonight? You're doing a show tonight? You're doing a show tonight?"
Nope.
And that would be Steph behind me talking. So like I said, I didn't set up a guest, but I did want to come here. So if you guys have any questions, I know that it's later than normal, and that's because I was helping with. There's Steph behind me. So,
Okay to open the door.
I was helping out with an event today with the other group that I'm part of and help form Warren County Fright Nights. And sorry, I got a little distracted there, but it was a charitable event. If you're in the Warren area, Warren, Pennsylvania, that is, tomorrow this event goes on. It's kind of a hodgepodge of vendors selling books, jewelry, clothing, and stuff like that. That's tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I worked all day. And so I'm kind of a little scatterbrained. This event is, you can find details of the event for Warren County Fright Nights on our Facebook page. Same name, Warren County Fright Nights, where you can find all the latest details. But that's not what this page is about, as you guys know. So there is some events that we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's on coming up. Hopefully they can be live broadcasts. One is, and I don't think I pronounced it correctly, but October 29th is Carnegie Library of Homestead, Pennsylvania. It's okay. I'm not here either. My mind is like really scatterbrained. And that, I believe, will be a live broadcast. But that's a mutual event through several different teams and such. Whereas our event on November 5th, if that gets finalized, which it should, is the Library Theater in Warren, Pennsylvania, and we're waiting on the details of the final arrangements of that. And I apologize with all the yeahs and ums, and like I said, I didn't have nothing really planned. I just didn't want to go another night or another weekend without some kind of show. And you guys deserve the regular schedule that comes with these shows. If you are a person that's in the paranormal, be it Bigfoot, UFOs, cryptology, anything that involves with the paranormal along those lines, as well as paranormal investigators like ghost hunters and things like that, or if you don't have to be part of a team is what I'm trying to say, but if you'd like to be on the show, be a guest, send me a message here on Facebook and or YouTube, and we'll get together and set something up. All the details of our names are up top there. Getting better at that, kinda. But I believe this will be a short show tonight. It looks like most people are probably off doing their own thing. Sorry, just got a message. So I also have some other things in the work that I'm not able to quite give details on yet. Of course, we speak with the team, as in Warren Area Site Paranormal. We talk about them together and we get things set up. But it seems like recently more businesses have reached out to us as opposed to clients and such. Well, more than just clients, but residential is the right word I'm looking for. Which I find kind of fascinating, because before all the events of the world took place, it was primarily residential homes that were contacting us and reaching out to us. But now it seems like it's more of business type. How you doing, Ron? I hope you're doing well tonight. I appreciate you popping in and saying, hey, it's been a while. I see you over on Mr. Consultant stuff from time to time. A lot of times Mr. Matt, Mr. Consultant, his shows and his wife's shows and such, and many of the P3 program has shows, but a lot of them are through the week, and my sleeping schedule is way different than what many in the States are. So either A, it's early for them because they're like on the West Coast or mid coast, and I'm on the East Coast. So when they're starting at like 6-7 o'clock at night, that's like 9-10 o'clock here, and from there it's I go to bed early on weekdays. I pop in real quick and say hey, and then I'm jumping back off because I'm usually having to go to bed. Keeping busy with the move, still unpacking. Yeah, I don't like to point out my clutter. We've been here for years and we're still unpacking. You find out what stuff that you really need and don't need. That's for sure. But in all honesty, a lot of the stuff you see behind me, we do auctions, and so we'll buy stuff and then resell at our yard sale, or find Christmas gifts and such, just odds and ends you pick up at auctions. So a lot of times you'll find stuff like, you see stuff like that behind me. That's why I'm still thinking about a green screen. But I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, I'm on another tangent. So is there any questions that you guys would? No doubt. Uh, you have a lot of collectibles. I keep myself from trying to get collectibles myself. Um, there is a toy from the 80s. Yeah, it had to have been the 80s. Um, which wouldn't take up a lot of space, but something that I've been wanting to collect. And I've seen them online. They're called mussels, and they're little rubber toys, and kind of like a Pokemon from the 80s collectibles. And they wouldn't take up a lot of space, but I just can't bring myself to spend money on toys. I guess I'm a grown man, so there you go. Golden Age Superman comics. I miss my collection. I had quite the extensive collection when I was younger, but I had to sell them off before I had my first child, and we were running a little short on money for stuff. So what do you do? All I know is it drove me crazy to let them go because I valued them out, and they're like worth $800 according to collectible comic book sources. And this was before the internet. And so I was willing to go down a price. I mean, you know what they sell for, you're never going to get full price for. So I went down to, it was like $800, and I was willing to sell them for like $200. So that was like $600 off. And even if they sold the comics for $1 each, they would have got their money back plus some, because I had a large collection. I was in such a jam for money that I took what they offered, which was like $60. Man, still annoyed. Hopefully karma caught up with that person. I mean, I agree they have to make money as well, but why haven't I put up the green screen yet? Because you're my tech guy there, Mr. Leefoot, and you haven't been here to help me put it up. Problem is degrading. It's so much money. Oh, very true, very true. Mine, I won't ever say mine was a near mint, but I had mine where I had delivered to the house. I direct shipping, so it was, which doesn't make it guaranteed great, but it did well. I set up 2 subscriptions. One I could read and one that I could keep closed as well. So I took steps to kind of try to alleviate some of the lower grades that they become by hand and such. Does lock in the value. It definitely helps. Doesn't guarantee it, but it helps. That's for sure. Little unknown fact. I know this is paranormal with the page and such. Not to keep going with the comic book thing, but a little unknown fact by many is I was actually drawn into a comic book by a friend of mine when I was younger, teenage years. Like, I must have been about 15. He was very talented at drawing, and he did kind of like a militia type military comic book and had it printed and such. I don't know how he got it printed, but he had it printed up, and it was pretty nice. I lost that comic book because I got a copy, of course, being part of it. It got lost in a fire, which really bummed me out, because I mean, how many times do you get that to happen in life without paying for it? I'm sure you could probably pay for it. So yeah, I was actually in a comic book at one point. Didn't believe that. You know, it would have been cool if way back in the day I was Mr. Fedora then, but no. I became Mr. Fedora many years later. Many years later. Sorry, got a Facebook message. But so there's that. Now I'm trying to search of something that. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, you know, it was kind of cool. I was probably very my ego probably exploded for a bit. It wasn't just me though; it was me and my brother and a couple of our friends. But it was pretty cool. They had the whole Black Hawk helicopter flying us around, and it was pretty cool. Not in real life, if anybody's just tuning in. I'm afraid of heights. Another very little known fact. So to kind of give you guys a little more background about myself, I believe I said it in a previous live video about one of my first paranormal experiences where I feel it was paranormal was having reoccurring dreams about a house. I'm not going to go into that one because, well, I don't know. I just not going to go into that one. Dig through my past stuff. Maybe I'll bring it up again. So let's go a little bit into the future. I don't know. How about this? How about some questions? Have you guys ever experienced this? And when I say this, I'm going to tell you what happened to me, and then you can let me know if you guys have experience. And if you'll do me a quick favor, if you're watching this now live, put in hashtag Team Live. If you happen to catch this on the replay, put in hashtag Team Replay. So let me know if you ever had this happen to you. This happened to me a couple times. First time that I remember, I had only 2 of my kids were born, my oldest 2, and this is the first experience of this. Is I was watching my nephew Billy, and the mother of my kids was at work. I had to be home that particular night to watch the nephew and my kids. And about my 2 were younger than our nephew, so he was still up. They were in bed. We were walking through the apartment at the time, and it was a little early for the mother of my kids to be home or coming home from work. And so we're walking through the apartment, and I could have sworn I heard her call my name. And I was like, that's odd. The strange thing about it was he was about 4 years old, and he looks at me and says he called her Aunt Tata because her name's Tanya, and he couldn't pronounce it correctly. So he looks up at me and says, Aunt Tata's on? I was like, so to me, it wasn't just myself hearing the name. The nephew heard the name. So I went outside, looked around, looked, see if maybe she had groceries to carry in or something, and nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen. That's the first time I experienced that. And Mr. Paracrew, how you doing, my friend? Been a while. So that's the first time I experienced that. So fast forward a couple years, new place, kids are older, and so I was sitting with a friend. I missed this game, but I had an old arcade game, Space Invaders, I believe it was. Sat down tabletop, but you would find at bars 2 players, and And so me and my friend was sitting down playing this game. It was just a nice, warm, sunny day. Nothing, just a regular day. And my sister, Tina, lived 3,400 miles away from me. Same state, just opposite ends of it, up in New York. So we're sitting there playing this game, and I think all the kids were somewhere, school maybe. Anyways, I hear what sounded like my sister say my name, and at that point, I kind of looked around, and my friend kind of looked at me. I looked around. She was nowhere to be in sight. So we go back to playing. I thought it was odd. He didn't say nothing about it. So I thought, well, maybe it's just me. So like 5 minutes passed, and I hear it again. What sounds like my sister calling my name out loud. And my friend looks at me and was like, why didn't she come in? Why is she just yelling your name? And I was like, beats me. I looked around. She was nowhere to be found. I called her up on the phone. She's like, I'm home. I'm like, that's very weird. And I believe it happened to me another time from her, but I don't quite remember. So that's could be just tricked my mind. So have you ever heard your name being called out by somebody that's not there? Like you look around, especially if somebody else was there to collaborate. Like my friend, we're older, 20 years old or so. So, you can kind of say, but when a kid under the age of 5 tells you that they heard it, that definitely piques your interest. Wouldn't you think? So what do you guys think? Leave a comment below on your thoughts. Or do you know what that's called? Because you know what, I never thought about looking up what that would be called. But that's one of my interesting things. Moments. Now another thing, as far as I would say, one of the more haunted places I live. Well, let's just say me and Steph were living in Warren, and our first place we were living with each other, it was a trailer, not a very big one, but enough for us, and that place had all kinds of crazy activity, which I kind of hesitate about investigating my own place because just something seems like that's not a great idea. But anyways, back to this place. This place had a lot of activity in it. We were anywhere from the plumbing, like the toilets would flush themselves, which was kind of odd. We'd be sitting there laying on the bed or even in the living room. There were ceiling fans, and they wouldn't be on. All of a sudden, they would just start spinning, and we'll sit like once or twice at least, if not even more. I'd be like, all right, that's enough. And it would come to a stop, and then go in the opposite direction. Be like, okay, that's not exactly what I told you to do, but that was kind of a little off. And then another thing that always kind of got me in that place was the tub would turn on, the bathtub would start running water on its own and fill up on its own. Or if we were getting ready to take a bath, more her than I, not to tell you my bathroom habits, but she's more of a bath person, I'm more of a shower person. So anyways, the tub would get filled up, we'd walk away, and it would be empty within a short period of time. Now that, you could say a bad plug or whatever, so that's nothing I would scream, oh my God, get out of the house, it's paranormal, run. Nothing like that. But, the other stuff was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting indeed. And there's been other places that I'll save for another night to speak about. I gotta try to save some content for you guys, right? Now, there's some of you that's been around long enough to remember this little tidbit of information. Warren Area Society of Paranormal was not originally going to be called Warren Area Society of Paranormal. I don't know if Lee is still here or not, but he would vouch for this. Me and him were working with each other in a food processing plant that made pepper and type, I don't remember, pepper and hoagie sauce for like sausages or whatever, green peppers and such. And other things. But anyways, the reason why I bring up that is because about the time we were thinking about, as many teams have, but about the time paranormal started to become more of a thing, we were working at this factory and ghost hunters came out. And one of the famous things that they were known for was being the star of their shows, plumbers by day, ghost hunters by night. And what do you guys think? You think Jay and Grant is still plumbers? I think they are. Lee don't think they are, but I think they are. I think they still make house calls. Anyway, so we would joke around and we'd be saying, well, we're pepper poppers during the day, because that was one of our job titles, is pepper poppers. So we were pepper poppers during the day and ghost hunters at night. So we kind of goofed around. We had a lot of fun before, picking on the show and having fun with each other before we even thought about starting a group. And so, sorry guys. So we would joke around, and then I believe Lee said we need to come up with a name. If we're gonna have a fictional group, we need to have a name, right? So we kind of kicked around. I don't know exactly who came up with a name fully, if it was me or him, but one of us came up with a name. We came up with the name of Warren Area Haunting Association. And for those, so not to make you guys think it, we said Waha. And so as we both agreed that sounded like a fun name, Waha. And so when we started seeing each other, instead of saying hi when we see each other out on the street, we would just greet each other with Waha. And finally people started asking, what the hell is that? Because at first we were like, no, it was nothing, just an inside joke. Finally people were like, no, we're not dealing with just that inside joke stuff. What is that? So finally I started explaining to people. I don't know if Lee did or not, but I started explaining to people what it is. And at first they kind of laughed, and then after a few times they were like, oh, why don't you start a group? I was like, nah. And finally, after a few weeks of hearing, why don't you start a group, I brought it up to Lee. And Lee was like, oh, we could check into that, I guess. And then I ended up speaking to Angel. We set up a meeting, and the rest is history, so they say. But so, yeah, WASP was originally known as WAHA, or Warren Area Haunting Association. But as the meetings got together and the group was together, we got voted down. And yes, I'm going to include Lee, even though he says I got voted down. But we got voted down, saying that name did not sound professional enough for a team. So we digressed and let it become WASP, which has not given us a lot of trouble, but some trouble with the acronym of it. If you don't know what it is, I'm not going to fill you in. Feel free to look into it. So if you ever hear me say Waha or Lee say Waha or whatever, that's where that comes from. So that's a little WASP history. That's a little me history. And so the show went a little further in time than I thought it would. I do plan on getting back in the habit of having guests on. I did ask a couple people, but kind of a little late, so they weren't able to do it. Hopefully, we'll get that figured out soon and get back to bringing you guys more entertainment than Mr. Fedora just rambling on the screen because, well, let's face it, I get to be boring after a while. I do appreciate all the support you guys have given me, though. I've gotten messages asking when I'm going to start doing these again. When I leave when I make posts and talk to people, it's always been positive. You guys show lots of support. That does well in encouraging me to grow and keep doing this stuff. Because I would be honest with you, it does sometimes feel like, am I just kind of wasting everybody's time by doing these? But when I stop doing it for a week or so, I get messages reminding me that people are looking for these, and so it encourages me and helps me to do them. I invited Leefoot on. He never said no, but I assumed the silence after that was a done deal. I'll take silence as no. And Mr. Consultant, he has free access to this. He can jump on anytime he wants, but he likes to pretend. He sends me Facebook messages saying, "Oh, you gonna send me a link? Put me on." I'm like, you can put yourself on. You got control. Jump on it. He's got enough control where I can't even stop him from putting himself on without booting him off the whole system. Like on his podcast, he could be like, "Should we bring him on? Should we bring him on?" And he gets to choose when. I don't even have that privilege. What's up with that, my paranormal fanatics? Another thing, speaking of all that, I think, it might be as early as 2 Mondays from now, I will be joining up with Mr. Consultant by his hometown to do a Para-Unity Day. We're gonna I can't imagine why we wouldn't do live there, which I have lack of internet access. Other than that, I don't see why we wouldn't be live. I've been trying to challenge him to do the one chip challenge like me and Leefoot did. He says that's one of his favorite videos, but yet he's not willing to do it himself. What's up with that? Come on, Mr. Consultant. You need to do one of these one chip challenges. And, they're selling them in Warren for like $8. And the neat thing about these ones is they even turn your tongue blue. So he is called out. But yeah, sorry. My mind was going, then it just stopped. But I will say they fare well. And I think I am tired enough. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. And as always, stay spooky, my friends.
Well, hey everybody, thanks for stopping down, and appreciate the visit. Now get the hell off of my porch. We'll see you the next time. Come on back.